back in college, and like it was a connection, like literally since day one. And I did not know that we would end up staying this close and just getting closer as the years go on, and just doing all these things together and going on all these experiences together. I'm very humbled and grateful to know this man, and I'm excited to pass it over to him. I know this guy always speaks from his heart and has all the best intentions for every single person on this call. So I would love nothing more than to pass it over to my brother from another, Mr. Kyle Robinson. Give this man some sevens in the chat, please. And I'm going to go ahead and unmute you.
Yo, Echo, thank you so much, man. Guys, keep dropping the sevens. Keep dropping the sevens for real, man. Echo, dude, it's crazy, man. A lot of people don't even know, but guys, like what this man has done for me, like what he's done for so many people. Back in college, this is literally what it was, okay? So it was me. There was another guy, Blake Phillips, that was from Echoes High School. Okay, so literally in college, like the nickname was like those two were my kids. Like literally, like I called them my sons. We all played basketball together, and like people literally knew us as us three always together. Like that's literally how it was. And like I was the dad, and those were my two kids, and we went everywhere together. You know what I mean? It's crazy, and we didn't even know. That's when we didn't even know anything. Like that's when we didn't even know, you know what I'm saying? That was the Fortnite in full gear. That was the Call of Duty, you know what I mean? All that stuff, like constantly. And it was just a totally different perspective, a totally different life. But, the stuff that I want to talk about tonight is perspective, and perspective and like paradigms and like the identity that we have on ourselves, because all of these things kind of like connect in a way that like shapes how we live our life and like what we believe, and it's like there's a Mark Yarnell audio on SoundCloud and it's absolutely amazing, but he talks about paradigms. And he talks about, there was a guy that used to run a race. Okay. It's actually like a race that happens, I think in California or something, but he used to run a race. And so he grew up on a farm that like would chase cattle for nights. You know what I mean? Like he would get them and, he'd run in these boots and these overalls and he'd chase cattle all night. Well, he was joining this race to where it was a pretty long race. And so people trained for it, stuff like that. But this older man was there, and so when they were running the race, most people got, 6 hours of sleep, but he just ran like throughout the night. And like, this was a real story. But what the importance of it is that the guy's paradigm was different from everyone else's. Like to them, they had to get their sleep and do their different stuff. But like to him, it was normal to just do these different things. So it's like what a paradigm is pretty much, your program beliefs, you know what I mean? Almost like your paradigm on how things are and what you believe on how they work and, all this different stuff. But what's crazy about it is you can't even like get any information that's outside of your paradigm because of something that's called your RAS, you know what I mean? So your reticular activating system, which pretty much picks up different information, right? Because all these different things are, stimuli coming to our brain, like thousands, per second. And, if we were to not be able to frame these out or like, clog different things out, we'd go crazy, and that's what our RAS does. It's a filter. So what he talks about is that it filters out like what you believe. Like if you don't necessarily believe something, like think about this. So if you don't actually see yourself as that millionaire, like you will never get that $1 million idea because your brain will get an idea. These ideas come to us, right? But our brain says that's not important because it's not a belief. You know what I mean? So that's why like beliefs are important as well, because when you're focused on it, when you're doing that stuff, you know what I mean? You start to get the different thoughts or you get the ideas that, that you're focused on. Or like, a cool example is like, because it's about like your fears and threats and all these different things. It's really, really cool to learn about. But how this is important is that, when you change what your paradigm is and when you actually have these beliefs for yourself, it's like you will actually start to different things. You will be aware of it. And we know that, right? Like we almost know that, but it's almost like a little deeper. It's like, it's the same reason why you hear your name, in a crowded party, right? You're at the club or something, you hear your name from across the room and there's all these conversations going on. Well, how would you hear your name? Well, because your brain says that's important, but all these other stuff, it doesn't say it's important. So you're not even, aware of it. Or like why we don't see our nose because we don't need to pick it up. You know what I mean? So, but it's some really cool stuff. But, paradigm and perspective, guys, like it's really, it shapes what it is. It shapes that issue into a blessing. It's like, it shapes that struggle into the ride that's to get there. You know what I mean? It really, And this is something that's really had a big impact on my life, is the fact that we get to decide what these things mean to us. You know what I mean? Like that's the full decision. Like when I said like grateful for choice, like we cannot decide what's going to happen to us in our lives, but we have the choice on what it means to us. You know, we have the choice on the meaning that it gives, right? What we do about it, you know, and that's right there is what can really make a difference on just these things that happen. And the crazy thing is like why we all kind of have different similar issues or feel the same way is like, you know, this society that we grow up in, like it's not even our choice, but we're learning this way of life, you know, and how normal things are, you know, from TV shows and stuff. And so we're programmed into thinking a certain way. But if we can unlearn this stuff, and that's what the personal development, you know what I mean, changing the way that you think, because this way that we used to think, a lot of us were not, you know, happy before, you know what I mean, or a lot of us really didn't deal with things very well, or you know, and maybe like being in this group and maybe being a part of these people, like maybe it's starting to change, and maybe you're really starting to see even a version of yourself that you didn't even think that you could see, you know. And so it's crazy, man. Like it's an amazing thing, like just to change the way that you're looking at something, and then that whole thing changes, you know what I mean, like that, to where like, oh man, this sucks, to it's like, oh wow, I'm super grateful, like, you know what I mean, like, or oh, I don't know what I'm going to do next, I don't know if this is going to work, to oh, you know what, like I know this is part of the plan, like for what's to happen next, like this has to happen for what's to happen next, or else it wouldn't even happen, you know what I mean. But it's all there, but we can really choose on what it means to you. And so I think that's a very, very powerful thing. And I think that can change anybody's life when you know that you have control over how you feel over something, you know, and the identity of yourself that you have of you, right, is probably based off of, and this is another thing, identity, you know, and the identity that we have of ourselves is just based off of where I come from, right? So I come from a small town, so I automatically relate to what I know about small towns, and I kind of relate that to who I think I am. Like, okay, so I come from here as well, just like these people do. So I'm kind of like these people, or oh, I play basketball, I'm an athlete, so I'm kind of like how athletes act and what they do. You know, it's really like we really start to put together this picture of ourselves based off of where we're at and what we do, what our family's like. Where do we come from money? Do we think that we're, oh, I guess we're just one of those people that just doesn't have money? You know what I mean? Like we really have these thoughts, but like when you can forget about, you know, who you are, who you have been, you know, because even 5 minutes ago doesn't exist. But if you can focus on, okay, but no, who do you want to be and who are we moving towards? Because right now, you know, the future is the right now, just, you know, in a different perspective, you know. So having that perspective, being able to change, you know, losing the identity of who you think you are and focus on who you want to be, like that's all some real stuff. And it's awesome, like, you know, once you really can change that idea of yourself and really start to look at yourself in that way. I know it's hard, right? We don't come from these places, we've had this whole thought of ourselves this whole time, but if you can really see yourself there and just have that trust, and it's like, hey, it can really happen. I know it's crazy, I know people told us to think realistically, I know they told us to do all this and that, but it's like, you know, what we're doing here and who we're surrounding ourselves with and the ways that we're doing things is really, really amazing. So, you know, so drop some sevens for you guys, man, for everybody taking this journey. And you know, perspective, guys, perspective is so crazy. It will change everything in your life. Like it will turn the worst day into you know what I mean, the worst day into amazing. Like, you know what I mean, the storm dancing in the rain, you know what I mean. So it's some amazing stuff. So Echo, man, thank you so much, man, for letting me speak. I appreciate it. I love you, family, guys. We're in this amazing thing together, man, for real. I'm telling you, if you guys are just going through whatever, just remember, like, you know, for you feeling this way there's going to be things that happen because of that. Like you had to feel this way for the good to come. So Echo, man, thank you so much. Much love to you guys.
Appreciate you, Kyle, bro. I appreciate you always, man, getting on here. You know, I know you were definitely speaking to me on that call. You were speaking to a lot of people on that call. You know, I always appreciate you coming in with your true authenticity, you know, and always being genuine, you know, when you're speaking. And, you know, like, you know, I just really want to touch on a couple of things that he said that really like made sense to me. Like just like the story we tell ourselves, like, you know, it's just crazy how like we create this whole picture in our mind of like what's going on, who are we, what are we doing, why are we doing it. And you know, once you realize that you have the freedom of choice, like I was saying, you can actually choose you know, if you have a belief system that doesn't serve you, and if you're looking at a way that, you know, if it doesn't make you feel good, you know, it just, you know, try to look at it a little bit differently. A lot of times, like he was saying, you know, if you're going through something right now, like there's a reason for it. There's something you are learning right now. There's something that you're going through. There's something you're healing from. There's something that's going on that you must experience now so that you can go to the next step. So it doesn't mean that whatever you want's not coming. It doesn't mean that you're not worthy. It doesn't mean that you can't do it. You know, so sometimes we just got to trust the divine timing. We got to really just trust the timing of our life. You know, but at the end of the day, you know, I do have another speaker that I want to have, you know, come on here. You know, this is someone that honestly, I just met her not too long ago. You know, whether it was, I think it was a couple months ago. I think it was a couple months ago. We've talked a couple times. And, you know, I don't believe there's any coincidences. So I know she has something to say on here that definitely a lot of people are going to hear tonight. And I'm excited to hear her perspective and what's going on in her mind. You know, she's studying neuroscience, and she's going to get into certain things on the subconscious mind and certain different things. I'm not even really sure what she's going to get into, but I'm excited. So Megan, you know, I'll definitely go ahead and make you host so you can share your screen. And yeah, go ahead and take it away. Let's get it.
Thank you so much, Jordan, and thank you, Kyle, as well. You know, I always love hearing you speak. So the intention that I set for this call is literally just for spirit to flow through me, and all the knowledge that I have about this amazing, beautiful vessel of the brain, I'm going to share with you guys. So just real quick to kind of dive into why it is that I do what I do. My freshman year in college, long story short, it was not, well, everything happens for a reason. So it was the right place, but at the time I did not think it was the right place. And I became mentally ill, like ill. And I just remember listening to my thoughts and being like, yo, like, ow, you know, like I would pray that nobody would ever have to go through what I did. No one would ever have to have the thoughts that I did. So I made it my next sort of move to start studying the mind. And, you know, we hear all the time, the mind body problem. You know, there's this spirit, this ether around us, this source, and it flows through us, and it starts within our brain. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys, because when I was studying at UCF, I came across my wonderful mentor. I own him so much. His name is Dr. Hancock. And it was funny because we disagreed on basically everything. You know, like he would hand me a publication, I'd fire back with another publication. We could never come to an agreement until he gave me this paper that he wrote, and it just changed. It changed everything. So the paper is called The Royal Road to Time, How Understanding the Evolution of Time in the Brain Addresses Memory, Dreaming Flow, and Other Psychological Phenomena. So drop a 111 in the chat if you've ever experienced deja vu. Like, what is that? What could be causing deja vu? So us humans, we're really the only ones who experience it, because this is how your brain is really set up. So whenever we think of the brain in parts, we think right brain, left brain. But another way to look at it is going to be in 3 parts as so. So this very bottom part, the cerebellum and the reptilian complex. So this is what all, you know, alligators got it, lizards got it, cats, they all have this reptilian complex. So our brain, it started from down here, and through evolution, it went boop, 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 and the architecture goes towards the top, towards the source, to the sky. Coincidence? I think not. But that is the reptilian brain. That is where that RAS system that Kyle had mentioned is. And then in the middle brain, that is just, you know, the limbic system, emotion. So that's the mammalian brain. So dogs have that, cats had it. That's why they get sad. You know, they experience emotion. And then finally, this is what I'm going to dive into. We have the new brain. So this is what it is to be human. This is where everything goes on, you know, our thinking, our mental faculties, this, that, and the other. It's all up here. And through these systems, it's going to be how your dreams. So I'm really going to go into the dreams, because once you get on point with your dreams and you're dreaming with intention, you're going to sleep with intention, you can get so much more information about yourself, about your life. So whenever you're having a dream, you don't, and you want to record it, you want to reflect on it, you don't really want to write down like what happened, the situation. You want to focus on the way that it made you feel, because those messages are coming from your limbic system. So it's an amazing thing what we can do with humans. We have so much power. But originally, this higher part of our brain, they call it the cognitive clock, it ticks faster than reality. So your dreams are always going to be set in the future. And it was originally made as a survival mechanism. You know, man would be in the woods, caveman, and you know, there'd be fire, this, that, and the other, and he would have a dream that would show like lightning striking a tree, fire, this, that, and the other, and it's a protection. But, you know, now that we live in, you know, a fairly safer society, we're aware of what we can do. We can actually override that clock and inform it of things that we want to happen. So when you're just living your life on autopilot, you know, you're not being conscious, you're not meditating, you're not doing this, that, and the other, you rarely have deja vu. It becomes like a one in like thousands and thousands of chance because we're always looking for patterns. And when you're not creating those patterns, your brain is just every which way. You know, people would be saying, I had weird dreams. It made absolutely no sense. It makes no sense because they're not dreaming and living their life with intention. But when, you know, you really start to create your future, we're constantly doing visualization. I'm with my team right now out here in Miami, and I swear every single day, at least one of us, we're like, I just had deja vu. And it's like, yeah, because we're all literally consciously creating our future. So we're having more and more and more matches. Our brain is literally adapting to the scenarios that we're playing out. So our dreams become narrowed down. They get more accurate. And this phenomenon occurs because we're literally creating our future. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to look at the chat box as well. Feel free to drop things in the chat box. I want to interact, et cetera, et cetera. So that is just the structure of our brain. So we all know about the pineal gland, right? The mind's eye. It's called the mind's eye by Oliver Sacks. So eyes opened or closed. If I told you to picture your mom right now, you're picturing her, right? Because we have that ability. So that's kind of why I wanted to bring up the dreaming and everything, is because when you do dreaming, all your outside senses, they get turned off. So that becomes very, very active, and that's going to be through the pineal gland. So the pineal gland produces this chemical, it's called DMT. It is known to make you dream, very strong visualizations, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But what I really wanted to get into, because, you know, every call, we should have the intention of what you guys need to know. What you needed to know is that our brains as humans, you know, it's stacked up. We're humans. This part is what creates. But now what you need to do is you need to relocate where you are essentially focusing your visualization. So I don't really know what it is, why this happens, but we grow up in a society where when we think of the pineal gland, we think it's like right here, right up top. But if you're, drop a 222 in the real chat real quick if you've been watching those Bob Proctor videos on I Am Academy where he has like the stick figure, conscious mind, subconscious. Anybody? So the conscious mind is the one that's up here. And if you think that your pineal gland is up here and you're focusing all your energy up here, you're focusing in the conscious mind, which is unfortunately not what you need to do. You need to bring it down to the subconscious. So I've been being mentored, and, you know, they keep telling me, you know, plant seeds. And I'm like, okay, I'm planting seeds. But imagine, you know, your brain. Look at it this way, you know, here's the soil down here, here's the sky and the sun. Are you going to plant the seed up here, or are you going to plant it down here? So when you look at the actual location of the pineal gland, it's going to be down here in what we would call the subconscious. So what you want to start doing is really focusing your intention down here, and you're going to see the visualizations, they just start hitting different because you're properly using your pineal gland, which is once again down here, sort of where the subconscious mind would be. So that's the mind's eye. It produces neurochemicals, and it's directly hooked up to your visual cortex. And that is what's going to start getting your dreams on point, because that's what turns on when you're dreaming. That's what creates that reality, that future, and you can essentially tap in. So it's very spiritual. I'm not sure which it is, if we're tapping into the future or we're creating and commanding that future. That's kind of what Kyle said, how everything happens for a reason. But either way, your pineal gland is tapped in, and you want to make sure that you're properly focusing you're focusing your mind. You can literally direct your mind. We can do anything. You know, we can definitely just focus our intention down here. So one other thing that I wanted to talk about while I was on here was different forms of healing that I think are very interesting. So how I had mentioned, you know, I was sick. I was mentally ill. I had all these thoughts in my head that I had no idea where they were coming from, why it was happening, and I ended up having to go to therapy. I thought that it was the right thing to do, but, you know, the therapist would look at me, And I would look at him, and he'd be like, why are you in here? And I was like, it's none of your business. You know, I would never admit anything. I did not want to talk about it. You know, everything was so buried deep in that soil in my subconscious mind that, you know, I wouldn't bring it up to my conscious, let alone was I going to bring it out through my mouth. You know, I needed a different form of therapy. So, you know, I was meditating. Meditation honestly healed me. Meditate, never medicate. But what was very interesting was going to be these bad boys. So this is a tarot deck, and you can literally see it's called Vision Quest. And what these things do is it's just amazing. So on the back, it literally says, we discover new aspects of our own subconscious and unconscious and learn to understand these messages. So essentially what you'll do if you ever want to read yourself, I read, you can DM me, we can set it up, is you're just going to take these and you're going to hold them and you're going to meditate and you're going to have intention and you're going to ask the universe to just give you something. And when you're putting your energy in here, you're asking a question, you're just visualizing it. These cards, they're gonna, there's like, the possibilities are endless. There's over 70 cards in the deck. It can be up, down, this way, the other, and they'll literally give you messages. And how this healed me was I got a reading one time. And Carl Jung was a psychologist. He used to use these, they're literally just pictures of what's going on in your subconscious mind. And I was pulling the cards. My reader told me things about myself that I'd never told anybody. All these things, they're kind of in the back of my mind, playing out scenarios I was remembering, but to actually see it, sidetrack, but not really. You know how like we take notes so you can get it out of your mind? Having it in your mind is one thing, but as soon as you write it down on paper, it's like a release. It's like that. We're having it on a table in front of you, a different spread, explaining all these things that happened in your life. That's a whole different thing, and that helps you heal so much. It's things that I'd never told anyone, and these cards are just showing me. They're showing me what I need to do. They're showing me what happened, why it happened, what other people are doing, and it's literally like a little peep into your mind, and it's in pictures. It's called archetypes. It's an amazing thing. And yeah, you guys can message me on Instagram all the time. I do tarot, I do crystals, I do astrology. Now I do brain stuff. I'm actually doing a bit of a study here in IM where I'm just kind of watching how everybody moves, and it's like a young Napoleon Hill kind of vibe. So, and it was just awesome getting to connect with everybody. And thank you, Jordan, again for having me, especially on the short notice. I was super excited about it, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to talking to everybody some more.
I appreciate you, Megan. Thank you for coming on here. Thank you for speaking. Thank you for going over the things. It was really what you were going over. Yeah, drop your Instagram in there. Really was reminding me of Joe Dispenza and some of the things that I know he loves to use the diagrams and really goes over the different details of the brain. That's very interesting. Something that I've definitely have not studied much, and I'm glad you really shared light on that. Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Give us some like give us some numbers in there. Whatever you're feeling like, honestly, like give us let's what's going on, Kev's in there. How are those what's it called, what'd you say, the lined papers, in there, or what? I can't remember what he said. But yeah, guys, like right now we're on here, we got 31 on here. If anyone has questions, whether for any of the speakers we've had on here, if anyone has anything that they want some more insight on, or they want some more information, or anything in general along this kind of line of information, $1 million, yes, sounds great. Why not? That's yours. Simple as that. If you want it, you can have it. Why would you not? Why would it not be yours? The only thing that can make it not yours is the story you tell yourself. So change the story. But yeah, I would really love for someone to really spark my mind or spark someone's mind on, like, give me something like, what's on your mind right now? Like, just put something in the chat. What is there, something about a question about something, or something? Yeah, definitely, for sure. Sleeping. Like, I've had times when I was sleeping where I didn't even know if I was sleeping or not. And then, like, next thing I know, I'm sleeping for like 16 hours, and I had like 10 dreams in a row. But like, I'm just like, what's going on right now? I don't know if that has that happened to anyone else. Like, has anyone else done that? Like, you just sleeping so deeply that like you're not even sure if you're sleeping or if it's real or yeah. Like this was really going to be a short call from the beginning. Like I didn't even have a specific like topic planned out. You know, so I'm definitely grateful that Megan hopped on and spoke. I'm definitely grateful that Kyle hopped on and spoke. You know, I've been running around doing a lot of stuff, driving and all this stuff. So I don't really haven't even had a topic, but okay, how can I properly set my intention before I go to bed? Yeah, that's a good one. That's something that I've definitely seen a couple videos on that. I've definitely done that before. And like a lot of times, like setting intention, you know, I think a lot of times we get a misconception thinking that it has to be this like whole like facade of like you got to do all these things, but like literally setting your intention can just be just setting the intention. Like it can literally just like just say it, like just write it down once, like just think it. Like it doesn't have to be like this whole thing, unless that's the story you tell yourself, then that's actually going to be true. You know, everything is a self-fulfilling prophecy. So you know, you got to understand. Okay, what did you say? But like, yeah, like literally what I would do is like as you're falling asleep, what you can do though, you know, that's kind of like a basic answer. But if you want to like for sure like really deeply ingrain that and make sure it comes through, you know, just you could set your intention before meditation and do a meditation right before you fall asleep. That's something that I've done that's definitely helped do that. Also, I recommend Joe Dispenza's guided meditation. It's called, you just have to look up Joe Dispenza guided meditation before you sleep. He really talks about like, it's literally like three different things that you want to achieve, and you write that down, and then it's kind of just going to play out in your meditation. And then also through the meditation, he has you reflect back on your day, on different choices you made and how you can improve for the next day and kind of things like that. So I definitely highly recommend Joe Dispenza's guided meditation. His guided meditations have helped me a lot. Yes. Okay. So the next question, and Megan, I will have you can answer any of these as well. As well. Let's see if you have any different.
I'll answer the one about not eating, or I gave
Mhm.
a answer about how to dream more. What was it exactly? Kevin said, how can we increase the chances to have more dreams? So that's going to go to not eating before bed. So it's called the gut-brain biome. You know, there's a direct correlation between your gut and your brain. So 90% of serotonin is actually produced within your gut. So that's why healthy eating is important. That's a whole other thing. But when you eat too early before you go to bed, then your gut is working on, you know, digesting all that food. And where's all that serotonin? In your gut. And serotonin is what will eventually turn into DMT, which is that molecule that causes the dreams that I was talking about. So when you're using the area where all that serotonin is being produced, then it's not going to be able to travel up to your brain. So that's kind of why we go into like fasting, not eating a little bit before bed, and it's really going to increase the lucidness of your dreams. And then just like Jordan said, intention. You know, Joe Dispenza, he even calls it the placebo effect. Like, you don't even have to know exactly what it is, what mechanisms, but like if I say I'm going to have a bunch of dreams before I go to bed and I believe it, then I'm going to have a bunch of dreams before I go to bed. And about getting messages, just sort of like, just be aware in your dreams. And it sounds weird, but like if you can ever sort of like step into that body, just start observing, and messages will come to you, but you got to act on them fast. Like right when you wake up, just all right, this guy came into a dream and told me to do this. I'm going to do that now.
Yes, I like that. I definitely have seen that to be true in my life as well, as far as the eating thing, like and honestly, it'll also just, you'll just sleep better as well. I know probably a lot of people on here, you either don't know that or don't really do that. I know a lot of us, like it happens to me as well, but like we like to snack late at night. Like it happens to probably a lot of us on the call. But it's really, and kind of how she was explaining it, like that definitely makes a lot of sense. Like you're like, what's happening is you're not really hungry, but it's like your gut is like, I don't really know how to explain it, but like she might be able to explain it better. But like something's happening to where, just don't eat before you sleep. Just don't eat before you sleep, pretty much. Okay, I'm a low vibration, need to shift mindset, surrounded by the wrong people. What's the first step? See, this is the type of questions that I love. These are the type of questions I love. Well, I mean, a lot of times our problems have very simple solutions, but the problem is we can't see the solution because our state of mind is wrong. So what I would say is your first step is to change your state of mind. That's your first step. So what you need to do, the fastest way to change your state of mind for me is to change my environment. So if I am in a house, I go outside, or I go take a shower, or I go to nature, or I go on a drive, or you do something to change your state of mind, whatever that is for you. You can listen to music. You can literally just scream on the top of your lungs, and don't be afraid to be weird, honestly, at the end of the day. But if you're around the wrong people, you have to remove yourself. Okay. And if you can't remove yourself permanently, you got to at least remove yourself for that moment. Okay. You have to at least remove yourself because you can't really think clearly when you're in the wrong environment, and it's not really your fault. So, and someone else said, I would say your first step is to change your state of mind. So then you can find the solution, because the solution's obvious. If you need to shift your mindset, you need to put positive things into your mind. You need to literally stop allowing people to put things in your mind that don't need to be there. And if it's people around you, you need to change your environment. If you can't change your environment right now, then you need to always be listening to something that's positive that's going to cancel it out. So if you're around negative people all the time, you put in your headphones all day and listen to whoever you resonate with the most. That's kind of what I do. I always listen to whoever I resonate with the most, and really just get in the habit of that, because you don't got to just sit there thinking negative all day, because no one wants to do that. No one likes doing that, but we all have done it at some point. It happens at the end of the day. You get overcome by your thoughts. I overthink all the time. Meditation is going to be really, I believe, the only way to overcome your thoughts for me. It's meditation, or just getting into the present moment. Meditation, is probably the best way. You need to learn how to meditate. If you don't know how to meditate, guided meditation is going to help you. But for those of you that have no concept of what meditation is, literally just close your eyes and focus on your breathing. Literally just focus on your breathing, focus on your breaths. You're taking deep breaths in and you're breathing out. And, of course, you can set intentions for those breaths as well. But you got to realize when you're breathing out, you're releasing the energy that does not serve you. You're releasing the resistance, and your intention is to let go. Because if you're in a low vibration, it could be because it's either because your mind or it's because your body, because your soul is naturally very high vibration, infinitely high. So it's not you. You are a soul. It's not you. It's your mind or it's your body. That's putting you in a low vibration. And a lot of times you're putting the wrong foods in your body, which causes your mind to think the wrong thoughts. Or a lot of times your mind's thinking the wrong thoughts, which makes you to say, hey, you know what? Let me just numb my pain by just eating a lot of food. Let me just eat the wrong foods because I don't want to feel. I want to feel something. You know what I mean? That's a lot of times we can do that. Really know how to deal with your emotions. You really need to understand what's going on with yourself. You need to know yourself. That should be your number one goal, is to just understand that if you got to just take responsibility at the end of the day. Take responsibility for your energy. Take responsibility. If something or someone in your life is not serving you, allow yourself to detach from it immediately. No questions asked. Detach from it, whether it be a relationship, whether it be a certain food you're eating, whether it be a habit you have. But really, for you to even detach from something, you need to be aware first, and that's why meditation is really powerful, especially certain guided meditations that can put certain focus on certain things for you and kind of does a lot of the work for you. That's why guided meditations are very powerful. And as you go on, you can start to just do that on your own as well, whatever works best for you. I think that would be a really good start. Yeah, step away from those people. Frequencies, protection methods, fire. Wait, hold on. What was the question? Okay, hold on. Let me see. Interesting. That's interesting. So yeah, fire. Yeah. So when it comes to the business, when applying this to the business, Like you got to understand that yes, certain people may be your mentors, or they may be your uplines, or they may be the people in your group, but not always are those the people that you're going to resonate with the most, and not always are those people going to have the best intention in mind. So although yes, certain people may have more results than you, may do this and that, but like at the end of the day, you got to make your own decisions. You got to make decisions based on what you feel at the end of the day. And that should go, that needs to be your highest priority, is just trust your feelings. That's got to be, you have to trust your feelings over your mind. You got to trust your heart over your head, like every time. Your mind can deceive you, your heart will never lie. Your mind can literally just tell a whole bunch of stories that aren't true in your own head, and you overthink. And because I do this all the time, that's why I can tell you. And like just let go of that. Whatever doesn't serve you, you got to be cleanse. Just sage yourself. Just sage yourself, honestly. How many hours of sleep is healthy? You know, that's something only you will really know that. That's only something you would know. But what you could do is you could journal. What I will say for that, so with sleep, when you go to sleep at the same time and wake up at the same time, you won't even need as much sleep, because your quality of sleep is going to be better, because you're in a circadian rhythm of consistency, and your body will just naturally, you know what I mean? Like you don't, and then of course add on not eating right before you sleep. And your sleep quality will just be way better for sure, 100%. You can drink water before you go to sleep. You know, that will definitely, hydrate your brain. That probably has something to do with dreams. I'm not really sure though. Okay, Megan, this one may be for you. It says, what about the relation of dreams and sleep paralysis? Some dreams I've had have occurred in a state of sleep paralysis, and when finally out of it feels somewhat confusing. So, yeah, if you have any insight on that one, go for it.
Yeah, I was reading that one, and I had to think about it for a little bit. According to state of sleep paralysis, okay. So what happens in there? And it's normal. It happens. So that's going to be that RAS that Kyle had mentioned, the reticular activation system. So it's essentially like an alarm clock, and it basically turns on and off your brain to be like, boop, stop producing DMT. It's reality. Let's switch back. But you know how in the morning sometimes we'll be hitting that snooze button on our alarm. It's like you're in and you're out, you're in and you're out. Your brain is essentially doing the same thing, where that alarm clock, it's kind of off, but it's kind of on. So it does feel somewhat confusing, because you're merging of realities, your dream reality and then your actual reality. They come and they meet. So your brain is sort of like, yo man, like I'm in charge here. With the cognitive clock, it's like I'm dreaming right now, and the bottom part, that reptilian brain that's going to bring you back to reality, it's like, oh man, like I want to wake up. So then you get caught in that sleep paralysis where you can't move the body, because it's actually we think that the brain, it would all work in unison, but those three layers I was talking about, they're actually in competition. They're fighting for control. The cognitive clock up here thinks that I'm more important, bro, like I'm predicting your future, and then this one down here is like, I'm controlling reality. I'm more important. That it's constantly at war. And that's why it's so important, to have those circadian rhythms, to eat healthy, and to take care of yourself, so it becomes a nice flow and a nice agreement. Basically what it just means that those two parts of the brain, they were competing against each other, and your body didn't know what to do. So you just went like, oh my God. And that's what sleep paralysis really is. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I like that. That makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. I can definitely see that. That makes a lot of sense for sure. Kelson said, practice some gratitude. Yeah, that as well. For raising your vibration. Because a lot of times, and I love, because when Kyle said this as well, this kind of relates to what Kyle was saying at the beginning as well. A lot of times we're just unconsciously sitting in a thought pattern that perceives a certain situation as negative or bad, but we got to understand and truly embody the fact that everything is neutral, and you get to put the meaning on whatever it is. You really, and that's something that's very difficult to do, because a lot of times the ego loves to attach itself to a meaning that we had from the past, or something that happened to us. We have a story in our head of this is how it went down. This means this. And a lot of times it's like our ego wants to attach to that. but like you really just understand that for you to really feel better, you have to change the way you look at it. It's not going to change if you keep the story that this person did this to me or this thing happened to me, I'm a victim, nothing's working out. Like that's a story that's going to keep repeating itself until you allow yourself to let go from it. Like, you have to let go of it, and for you to let go of it, you need to see it differently, and that's where gratitude comes in. That's where gratitude really comes in, where you can just say like, listen, right now it doesn't make sense how this could be a good thing. Like honestly, like on the surface, it looks like this is bad. It looks like, this is definitely the thing that made me feel a certain way. And with this, that is true. Like certain things outside of you can on a default basis, like make you feel something, but you got to realize that you can change that, but you have to be aware of it. You can it's called mysticism. Like how Kevin Trudeau talks about when you blaming outside circumstances on how you feel inside. And, it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility to change it if it doesn't serve you. Okay. So it's not your fault because we were just, growing up, especially, whether it be from watching TV, watching movies, playing certain video games, maybe our parents, maybe our teachers, maybe the people around us in school. We were just taught to emotionally react to everything, and also just like take things way out of proportion, because I don't know whether it's getting attention, whether it's, whatever the case may be, whatever that means to you, only you know what that means to you. But what I'm saying here is for you to get out of your head and get into your heart, you have to let go and just be grateful. Like just be grateful for no reason. Like just send out love to someone else. If you're not feeling love inside, just literally just bite the bullet, have the courage to just give out love to someone else. Like you're feeling bad right now. That's, for you to feel better, you need to send out better. You got to send it to someone else. Just send out, because whatever you send out is going to come back to you, and it's a never-ending process. It's always going to happen. So, that's why it's just whenever we're in a bad feeling, whenever we're in an emotional state that we don't like, we have to take responsibility and say, I'm responsible for changing the way how I feel. If I don't want to feel this anymore, what made me feel like this? How can I acknowledge it and change the label and meaning I have on it, and then move forward from there? How can you do that? And you have to be aware enough to and know that you have the ability to do that. Okay, and that's what's helped me. That's what's helped me a lot. 100%. Is there any other questions? We've been on here for almost an hour. If we have any questions, it's very powerful. It's very powerful. 100%. Something that I have not mastered, but I'm well aware of and practicing and getting better every single day. 100%. Yeah, we can keep going. It's if there's anything around this lines, thank you for hopping on here. Thank you for just being on this call and having certain questions and certain things. Everyone's intentions are playing out in this call right now. That's what I love. No matter what it is for you. Yes. Okay. So so any insight on crystals? Well, pretty much like I don't know too much about crystals other than the fact that certain ones do certain things, and a lot of it has to do with your belief in it as well, but also they definitely undoubtedly have power because your feelings don't lie. And like I don't know really enough to explain it other than I can definitely feel kind of like I can just feel that it's working for me. Yeah, Megan has the crystals on it. How does fasting play with diet? Fasting is a very powerful thing you can do when it comes to for many reasons, but I would say first and foremost to cleanse out your system, to cleanse out your body. And I've done water fasting. I've never done like completely fasting with no water, but I've done water fasting to flush out your system, flush out the toxins in your body. It helps you with that, and it also helps with your mental clarity and focus and self-discipline as well. So like if you, and this is something to be aware of, and this is something like, let's say for example, that you're in a situation, you're in a thought pattern, or you're having a old habit coming up where it's kind of holding you back, whether you're inconsistent, whether I don't know what it is, whether you're addicted to something, whether you're attached to something, whether you kind of just catch yourself like automatically reacting to something in a reaction mode. Fasting will teach you how like habitual we actually eat. Like a lot of times we're eating out of habit and out of satisfaction rather than actual like nutrients and hunger. Like it's literally just we just want the feeling of food, like, or it's literally a habit. And you will realize that when you're fasting, when you're 12 hours, 16, 24 hours in, and your body just wants food, and you like catch yourself, you're like, what? Like, where am I going? Am I going to the fridge right now? No, I'm not. And then you stop yourself, and it's like, it's a point of self-awareness and self-discipline when you can tell your mind who is boss. Like when you can just say, I'm not eating that right now. I'm actually going to wait because I told myself I'm going to fast for this long. And at that point, you really can take control of your mind. You can really take control of your mind. And it's something that's easier said than done. And if you've never done it before, it's probably going to be difficult at first. But I can tell you if you do it with other people as well, it will definitely help you. Having accountability partners doing it at the same time as people will definitely help you. That's one type of fasting. Also a social media fast, which I highly recommend if you've never done it. Whether it be one day, whether it be a whole weekend, do it. You need to set your boundaries on your energy. And odds are, if you're not aware of it, if you know you're on social media a lot, probably you're 90% of the time you look at social media, it's not something that you're consciously doing. It just happens out of habit. So a lot of times, and I know that's definitely the case for me. That's something that I'm aware of, that definitely feel a social media fast coming soon. So if that relates with you, definitely take note of that. A month fast, that's going to be crazy. I just got so grossed out. I was about to eat something. What happened? Eating is an emotional activity. Yeah, definitely it is. It definitely is. Also this one thing else when it comes to fasting, this is another thing that I noticed. And what's happening is when you're in the fast, there's a certain period of time where your body's still digesting, and that's the beginning. And then typically around a certain point, I don't know the exact time, but at a certain point you get into starvation mode, which means that your body changes and it almost like adjusts to it. But when you break the fast, this is what's powerful. Whatever you eat, you can literally tell exactly what that food did to your body, and it can help you become more aware of the food you're eating. And you're not just eating for no reason. You're not just eating unconsciously. You're not just eating for flavor. You actually understand that this food made me feel this way. This food gave me this nutritional value. And the only way you really know that is if it's the only thing in your system. You can also do this on a day-to-day basis, even if it's not like a long fast. But if you even intermittent fasting as well, I'll definitely talk on intermittent fasting. You can do as well, which last year I did intermittent fast almost every day for probably almost a year. And what I would do is I would drink only water from about 8 p.m. at night until about, sometimes it was noon, sometimes it was 2 p.m., and just kind of intermittent fasting is you just pick a window where you're eating in that window. And when you're out of that window, you're not eating. And what's happening is when you give your body a break from digestion, you literally have all that energy that would go towards digestion is going towards your goals. It's going towards your mind. It's going towards your focus. But listen, guys, like digestion takes up, look up the statistic, because I know 88% of percentages are made up anyway. But literally, what I heard was it's over 50% of your body's energy is going towards digesting food. So be aware of and that's one of the reasons why I went vegan to begin with, was because I realized and not only just vegan, but more so plant-based, really, in reality, is more so certain things that digest quickly. Because if I'm eating mostly fruits and vegetables or smoothies or things along those lines, I'm getting the nutrients within 30 minutes, within an hour. The digestion is quick, so I can get the energy immediately. But if you're eating things that take a long time to digest, a lot of times we're eating a second or third meal when we're still digesting the first and second meal. And your body's going to work. Like your body is so tired and exhausted. And you don't even know it. If you like are always eating, you're not even aware of it. But like when you fast, then you understand like, wow, I actually naturally have way more energy. And then you start to become aware and you're just eating for intentionally, like literally eat for a reason. So fasting, I'm glad you asked that question on fasting. That's something that's very powerful that has helped me in a lot of ways, whether it be intermittent fasting or just in general. Just try it, like really try it if you never have. Yes. Yeah, of course. Yeah, like Carla was saying if you have any medical issues or diabetes or anything like that, like always at the end of the day, like what we're telling you is just certain things that have helped us and advice and things we've learned. But bottom line is you got to go with your own feelings, okay? Because I can only tell you what's worked for me and what I've learned, and you do your own, if that's something that resonates with you, if that's something that you feel you should do, you do it. If it's not, then don't. And that's really, I think your heart will know the answer. Another thing I want to add on to that, when it comes to making decisions, a lot of times, like I said, our mind will overcomplicate things, and our mind will a lot of times will confuse you, and probably has something to do with what Megan was saying. Your brain and your mind are you're not exactly the same, but it's like your brain has 3 different parts or whatever. You're talking about how like they're trying to compete with each other, like if that makes sense. But like literally your mind a lot of times it's not even your own thoughts. Like it's other people's opinions in your head. It's other things going on. But your heart will never lie to you. So I would make decisions with your heart. And really the only way to really make decisions with your heart is to like get out of your head. And really meditation has helped me a lot with that, as far as just total body awareness and like tuning into my senses. As far as like a lot of times if you're overthinking, you're really putting a lot of energy and focus into your mind and not even realizing it. So meditation can help you move your focus from your head and put it into your heart or into different places in your body. That's something that can help you make decisions, I would say. But if anyone has like any, like probably like one more question or anything else anyone wants to add on to that, definitely feel free. How do I meditate? I meditate usually at least 2 times a day, sometimes more. If I don't meditate, then I realize that I needed to meditate. But first thing in the morning, last thing at night, for the most part, anytime in the day, this feels needed. Guided meditation with headphones in, it has been the easiest way for me to do it. But really you want to just be in a quiet place where you can't be disturbed. That's really the main thing, I feel like, especially if you're someone that gets sidetracked a lot, or if you're overthinking and only you know where you're at when you begin the meditation. But the earlier in the day, the better. The later in the day, the harder it's going to be to actually get into a state of meditation, because you have more of the day that you're processing in your mind. And the whole idea of meditation is to get out of your mind and into your heart. For me, into the present moment. And yes, something that it takes practice. And probably everyone here that meditates does it slightly differently. But just deep breathing, like literally just deep breathing. I do 4 seconds in and I hold for 4 and I let it breathe out 4. And I don't really count, but like that's just kind of like general idea. And when you get into that deep state where you've really allowed yourself to let go of that resistance, you know what that feels like. And at that point you can like how Joe Dispenza says, like if you're in that state for 1 minute or 30 seconds, then you did your job. But like if you don't feel any different than when you started, then it didn't do its work. The whole point is to let go. The whole point is to get back into the present moment. The whole point is to detach from anything that doesn't serve you and is in your mind, like whatever it is for you, You can even do intention, like you can also just meditate on a goal. You can meditate on an intention as well. You know, you can do that. It's really up to you. But meditation is so powerful because it just allows you to see the separation between you and your thoughts. And it really allows you to realize that your thoughts are not you. And that's something that before I meditated, I only really felt when I was, whether it was playing basketball or whether I was running, you know, that's just because I was in the present moment. Like that's what the present moment is. When you just become the moment, you're doing what you're doing. You know, we're on this call right now. We're in the present moment. I'm not sitting here thinking about what I'm doing tomorrow or what I'm doing yesterday or whatever. We're in the present moment. We're here right now. That's what meditation is absorbing yourself into the present moment. And when you're in the present moment, you understand that you are not your thoughts. You're the presence experiencing those thoughts. And detaching from your thoughts really just allows you to take your power back, and it allows you to let go of what doesn't serve you. So meditation is very key. If you're someone that overthinks, if you're someone that has anxiety, if you're someone that has fear, if you're someone that has any of those things, which I think all humans do, but if it's literally like taking control of you, meditation is your answer, 100%. Meditation, and I would say fasting as well. Because it's either your mind or it's your body that's creating the resistance. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. And we're also, what we're going to do, what was it? I think that's all for me. That's all for me. You know, we've been on here for an hour. So I appreciate everyone for hopping on here. Hope everyone's having a great day. Hope everyone learned something. Hope you received what you're looking for on here on this call. And you know, we'll see you guys next week. Next week that we're actually going to have, and you know, drop some ones if you would be open to. Well, we're going to have Adriana. For those of you that know Adriana on this call, I think some of you have met her already, and she's from Australia. So Adriana, if you can either type in the chat or say something on the voice or whatever you want to do. But Adriana, she's someone that I actually met, like, I think it was like 5 or 6 months ago on Instagram. And, you know, she got started with Forex and I Master Academy probably like less than a month ago. You know, we really connected, really gotten close over these last few weeks. And yeah, Adriana, if you want to kind of say, I think we're going to do a call next weekend. So I definitely wanted to, you know, just announce that and let you guys know what's going on, what we're going to do. And yeah, guys, we'll see you guys next week. We're definitely got some very interesting things going on. And yeah, hope you guys have a great night. Peace, love, and blessings always. Peace out. I usually drop the music, but I don't know where it is, but you know, you got the music. Yeah, it's fine. All right. Hope you guys have a good night, guys.